Welcome back to my channel. Sorry I haven't done a YouTube in a couple of weeks. Things have just been crazy busy in an awesome way. So what I want to talk about today is I've been getting a lot of questions about this, and I actually did an Instagram live last night on seed cycling, amongst other questions that you ladies had, but of course my Instagram live didn't save even though I clicked the save button. So here we are again, and I'm going to talk to you guys about seed cycling. So the first thing I want to say is that I do not, anyway, from my work with women, I don't see that seed cycling is going to fix all of your hormonal problems. It could definitely help in the right direction, but at the end of the day, you know, no amount of supplements or seeds or whatever is going to fix a underlying issue. And what the seed cycling, the purpose of it does is to balance your estrogen and progesterone ratios. But that's not getting to the root cause of why you've got an imbalance between the two. So I'm going to address that today, and then I'm also just going to tell you how you can do seed cycling. So firstly, in the first half of your cycle, your estrogen rises, then it falls, and then your progesterone rises. Okay, now this is how it should be. And then your progesterone rises in your second half of your cycle. This is how it should be, okay? But for many women, their estrogen rises it really high, it drops off really suddenly, and their progesterone doesn't rise enough to counterbalance the effects of the estrogen. And that's where you'll get the PMS symptoms, the moodiness, the irritability, the you know, anxiety before your period, the depression, the cravings, the cramps, the really heavy bleeding. All that stuff is from the lack of progesterone. Most of it is from the lack of progesterone, and there's many things that you can be doing, and one thing is obviously seed cycling. And so I thought I'd answer the questions of, like, main question I get is, do you know what seed cycling is? Does it work? And then, you know, how can seed cycling help my cycle? So the main sort of like purpose behind using seeds is that seeds contain a compound called lignans. Basically, this is in the hulls of the seed, and then the seeds also have some beautiful omega-3 fatty acids, which are really anti-inflammatory and also really important for the building blocks of your hormones. So cholesterol is the building blocks to your hormones. So these lignans that are contained in seeds, basically they bind to your estrogen receptors and then will flush out any excess estrogen. So this is where it's really beneficial for women that have too much estrogen, which is the majority of women these days. Majority of women will have too much estrogen and not enough progesterone, or an imbalance between the estrogen and progesterone, and their ratios off. So one way that you can use seed cycling is to bring back a regular cycle, and the best way to do it is basically to seed cycle as though you are synced up with the moon. So syncing up with the moon is a really beautiful feminine practice that connects us more to Mother Nature, and it's just awesome to be able to look in the sky, see the moon, and go, that's where I am in my cycle. It's pretty cool. I love that about my cycle. So yeah, a great way to do it is to actually use this seed cycling and to help your period link up with the new moon. So in the first half of your cycle, that's about days 1 to 14, okay, so you know, before ovulation. And don't forget that ovulation is not necessarily on day 14. Only 30% of women ovulate on day 14. Most women ovulate either before then or after, so it's really important that you find out when you are ovulating for yourself. So in the first half of your cycle, you use flax seeds and pumpkin seeds. Now both of these contain lignans, which help flush out the excess estrogen, okay, because you want a good amount of estrogen, but you don't want too much, because the more estrogen you have, the higher that will increase and the bigger the drop off, which means more premenstrual, you know, more PMS, more irritability, more mood swings, that sort of thing. The pumpkin seeds then, in that flax and pumpkin combo, the pumpkin seeds are the highest source of plant-based zinc. Lamb is the highest source of zinc, so you could just be eating lamb during this phase, but pumpkin seeds are a great plant-based source, and basically zinc is needed for the production of progesterone, okay? It also helps with reducing inflammation and getting your liver to detoxify estrogen, and this is where I guess I'm sort of, you know, seed cycling isn't the be all and end all, and some women say, oh, but like last night some women on the Instagram live were saying, I'm really sensitive to seeds, like then what do I do? Like, don't worry, because there's so many other ways to flush out estrogen and to boost zinc, to boost progesterone. It's not just about the seeds. So I'm just doing this little video because I've got a lot of questions about it, but honestly, I haven't told any of my clients to seed cycle because I haven't got to the stage where I'm like run out of options and that's my only option. I find other things work a million times better and faster. So the pumpkin seeds are great for zinc in the first half of your cycle to help your body to get ready to produce more progesterone in the second half, which is obviously really important for help reducing those PMAP symptoms, like I've said, and the fluid retention and all that sort of stuff. So in the second half of your cycle, that's after ovulation to when you get your period, in this phase you want to be having sesame seeds and sunflower seeds, okay? So these seeds also contain lignans to flush out any of that excess estrogen that's still hanging around from the ovulation phase. But the sunflower seeds also are quite high in selenium, which is vital for the production of progesterone, and also high in vitamin E. And vitamin E is really great actually for if you've got sore boobs. Iodine and vitamin E are really great for sore boobs. But vitamin E is also really important for getting your liver into phase 2 of detoxification, which is where you detoxify estrogen. We all can get into phase 1 quite easily, but it's that phase 2 that's difficult. That's where the magic happens. So phase 2 is really important, and I actually talk very in depth about the 2 phases of your liver detoxification pathways in my Turning Off Your Period Problems program, which is all online. Sesame seeds also help to boost progesterone production, which is really important for this phase. And they both contain lots of healthy fats. Well, I wouldn't say tons, not as much as olive oil and lard and ghee and stuff, and coconut oil, but they contain some fatty acids, which are obviously really important for the production of hormones and to help keep your hormones balanced. But basically, that's how seed cycling works. So you sop it up and you grind them. The point is that you grind them up in like a coffee grinder or whatever. And you have, 1 to 2 teaspoons a day during each of those phases. But to be really honest, I don't want you to think of it like, oh, it's another chore or that it's another obligation that you have to do with being a woman, like it's a bad thing. I really try and put sustainable things in place for women to support their cycle because I don't want them to ever feel like it's a burden. And sometimes with things like with the seed cycling, it becomes another thing to remember every day, another thing on your to-do list. And I don't want your cycle to ever become like that, and it shouldn't ever need to become like that. Maybe in the beginning when you're trying to balance everything out, but the seed cycling can take 3 to 4 months to start working, and whilst 3 months you need to allow your cycle 3 months to notice any changes, and I recommend that to all my clients anyway. I've had girls and currently have girls that have 4 months ago they'd go to the ER for period pain, and like one client that I had this morning, and she's completely period pain free. She cannot believe it. She's lived 13 years with her period where she would go to the ER. She's gone to every gynecologist and endocrinologist under the sun, and everybody wants to just pop her on a pill, and now within 4 months she's pain-free. So it's pretty incredible the stuff you can do, and while seed cycling could be a great addition to it, I don't want you to start feeling like it's another thing that you have to do in order to balance your hormones, because plenty of other things you can do. So yeah, anyway, I hope that answers your questions, ladies, about seed cycling. If you've got questions, send them through as usual. Otherwise, I hope you have a beautiful day, and please subscribe and like this video or comment any questions below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, if you have a question that you really want answered, your best bet is to email me. You can email us at hello@monicayates.com.au, and I will get back to you with an answer as soon